Good morning, this is Vaughan at westcoastbellpottery.ca in Nova Scotia, Canada, and this is Jackie, my wife. We're going to unload a cone 04 glaze firing in an electric kiln. So without further ado, let's have a go at it.
Okay.
Alright, looks spectacular. These are refires, the two platters, because we noticed there was a couple of crawling areas.
Yeah, along here and along there.
Yeah, and that is because certain underglazes are meant to be painted on bisqueware and others can be painted on greenware and bisqueware. The ones that painted on bisqueware get really shiny in a bisque firing if you put them on in the greenware stage, and then the glaze has trouble adhering to those areas, so you can get crawling. So I would advise you only to paint those bisque underglazes on the bisqueware. Anyway, here you go, Jackie. You can.
Yeah, so these were ones we actually filmed the unloading of these previously, and then once hold it up to the camera, and then once we had a good look, we noticed that there was crawling along here, and that was one of the blues that I like to use as a sort of intensifying glaze over some of my other blues that looks like had been the culprit and crawled, but it looks good now. Make sure that I got everything out. Yep. And I'll hold this one up. And the same thing here. In some of the dark blue areas, I had some crawling, but the second glazing has taken care of that. And what's nice is I don't think I lost too much detail with the second firing, so that's good too. The rest of these are just the lids to jars. So I'm just gonna, they're hand painted jars. I don't know if you can see. They are little jars. So should we just show the two together, Vaughn, when we
some of the jars didn't fit in the firing, so we'll only have some of them.
Yeah, so I'll just they're just painted in different motifs. I guess we'll have to match them up afterwards. So it's flowers and there we go. Okay, so next layer, I'll pull this out. This is another oval. So this is a platter made with the press mold technique, and it's on earthenware. So that's pressing a slab. Using an oval mold to press into a slab that's on top of a cushion, and that's how the pressure pushes down on this part, and then you get the lifted edge. So this is an earthenware with underglaze.
And just to remind everybody, we actually bisque fired a cone 01, which is about 2025 degrees, and then we glaze fired a cone 04, which is 1945 degrees Fahrenheit. And the reason for that is we don't get any crazing, and the clay is a little bit denser. As an earthenware clay body, it gets a little bit harder and denser once you go to cone 01, and they're more durable that way.
Okay, so see here I'm going to pull out some of the little jars, and maybe I can find the matchup. There we go. There's the matchup with the lids.
And this clear glaze is spectacular at cone 04. It's totally clear, so I'll post a little picture at the end of this video of the clear glaze recipe.
Oops. I think Vaughn will re-photograph these later. And that's this lid.
And we fire on stilts most of the time. These lids were fired just on their rims, because in earthenware, once you go to 01, you fire them on the pot, but when you go to glaze firing, you can fire them and they don't warp at all at that temperature. So
next were some bowls. So Vaughn threw these and I did the stencil decoration. And then these are the ones that I paint upside down. So when it's upside down, a lot of times I do a signature panel.
And I'll link to the video Jackie hand painting some of these balls similar to these at the end, so you can watch how she does it. It's pretty incredible how it starts and then how it finishes.
So this is a wider bowl with this profile. So these ones I paint upside up because it's wider, so it has to be upside up when I paint it. Painting the inside.
It has some chattering on the bottom of those too.
Yeah. So this is another one painted on the inside. And then, like Vaughn was saying, he did some chattering on the outside. And this one I put a little signature panel on the bottom. And let's see, what do we got here? This is another inside. And Vaughn did the chattering on the bottom. This one I just signed on the raw clay. And the last one on this shelf for me, this is another one. It's got the spiral color inside and then it's painted on the outside. So these are stencil and underglaze. And lately I've been using white slip underneath my colors instead of the yellow. Okay, Vaughn, do you want to unload your mugs?
Yeah, these are the new style of looping. That's how we stilt fire them on the bottom. And I just tried a new way of painting the looping mugs that I do, where instead of doing the grass from underneath, I actually tried to imitate the real lupins. So there's a bunch of these, so I can whip through. They're all the same. But the stilts just come off so easily at earthenware temperature as well. So yep, so they all worked out pretty good. And these are all painted in the greenware stage. Okay, now these are the video I just posted of painting bowls. So this is what somebody wanted to see, the finished product. Well, here they are. And this is that clear glaze, a little bit of chattering on the underside there, just to give the outside a bit more of a interest. But they held that color really well.
Good idea.
I always look carefully so that the stilt doesn't fall off, because they do come off pretty easily. Sometimes they fall onto another pot if you're not careful. But see, the looping, it's got a nice contrast of it too.
You should mention that you're double layering.
I am double layering. Actually, the flowers are painted almost 3 times in some cases. And the underglazes we use, some of them are single strokes, but they still need to be painted 2 and 3 times to get a real intensity. In an earlier video I posted, you could see the leaves through the flowers. So you really have to try and get some intensity. And the single strokes, one strokes as they're called, just still need to be more opaque. And then there's a couple more loop-in bowls, mugs here. Alright, if anybody wants any of these, they will be in Canadian dollars, $65, so which is about 50 US. Two more. And then we've got some nice pieces in the carved for the rest of the kiln fire. I think a lot more carved pieces.
Okay, so here's the bottom to one of the little jars. 2 seagulls. floating. And this is one of Ron's carved pieces, carved mug. You can see he carves right down to the red clay and gets a lot of depth there.
This is the one that was in the video on carving a mug recently that I did fast and slow motion.
Oh, you want to talk about it more?
So basically, even though the color washed out a little bit on the boat there, because I think I painted some green in there, but it's still there a little bit. But yeah, so this is the one I did, I think a 5-minute video and an hour and 6-minute video, but that's the finished piece.
Okay, and so this is stencil and underglaze again. The cat and the roosters.
Okay, at the bottom of the kiln, there was a bunch of lamps painted the same way I did the bowls. So these are all pretty much similarly painted. I often sell 2 of these at a time. There is a variation because these ones had some loop-ins in, the other ones didn't. But you definitely have to paint, you know, multiple times in the same place to get that intensity. But that's really red. There you go, Jackie.
Okay. So, what do we got here? Some more mugs. It's the whale and island motif. More cats and chickens confronting each other. This is also the landscape and sheep. We graze sheep on some of the islands out here. These are 2 cats playing. Another one with the 2 cats playing. Oh no, this one has a cat and a bird. This is a local farm.
Is that Jill's farm?
And yeah, it always sort of ends up being kind of Jill's farm, doesn't it? Just down the road. It's nice because a lot of the farms are right on the water. Because they had so many down here. This is the island and the whales. Birds and trees. And these are all using, I'm now using the white slip underneath instead of the yellow. So there's a can tell there's a lot better contrast, I think. And let's see, I got a couple of carved ones down here. These are black and white. They're on the red clay. There's a little bit of the yellow slip coming through. They're on the red clay. This is a boat and the boat houses. And I think there's, nope, the rest are Vaughn's here. Vaughn, you want to talk about yours?
Like the one that I did the video of, this is the government wharf just down the road where they have a whole bunch of lobster boats that go out. I've used that in quite a lot of my pieces, including some large murals. This is another one with the wharf plus a boat. Slowly this wharf has been changing because they've been taking down some of the old 100-year-old buildings and replacing them with buildings that are just not as nice, but they are new and totally, you know, protected properly. There's a couple of schooners. The yellow is actually showing through really nicely in these ones, and this one, because I had the yellow there, I actually, you know, made it into a really sparkling sun. And then I paint with the white slip over the sails, which are actually black before I start painting, just to make them pop. And you can feel the sails. The slip gives it a three-dimensional feeling. Oh, there's the stilt falling off. There are lobster boats all over this area, because it's Nova Scotia lobsters are, you know, world famous. They go to, most of them go to China now, but there you go, and that's the end of that kiln firing. So if you want anything from this video, just give us a call. You can take a screenshot and just send me that in an email. The email's posted at the end of this video. We can ship them to Australia, Finland, France, all over. So we'll get them to you. Just give us a call and I can let you know how much things are. These generally are around $90. And Jackie's mugs, I think, are $95, $98. And the lupins, I think they were $65. Yeah, but give us a call. All right. Thank you very much.
Bye.